Hi everyone, I want to tell you today the top mistakes people make when they're cleaning engager rings. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first mistake people make. Oftentimes when people buy an engager ring and they exhaust the jewelry cleaner that they get from their local jeweler, they want to find their own ways to clean their ring. That's totally fine. Avoid harsh chemicals for your ring. That's the first one. Don't use anything that you see in your cabinet or anything, especially if you can't pronounce the chemical, then definitely don't try to use it for your ring. Bleach is a very good example, and that's just for diamond rings. If you have a softer stone like green emerald, or if you have pearl or black opal, and for sure, stay away from almost all chemicals. You want to go with things that are very, very safe. 2, oftentimes after you clean your ring, people want to dry your ring. The problem is people dry their ring with the wrong things. We'll talk about tissues. You don't want to use tissues, and you don't want to use paper towel because they get caught in the ring. And a lot of times people, they aggressively scrub their ring with a tissue or the paper towel. They don't realize that a little bit of tissue, paper towel is getting stuck in the prongs and it can pull on the prongs. Also, cheap microfiber and grainy cloths. What you're doing is whenever you're cleaning your ring, it's the prongs of it is taking in some of the microfibers and it could be loosening the prongs over time. Not good for the ring. 3, what I always recommend when anyone buys a ring from us, as long as it's diamond or sapphire or ruby or something that can handle it, to use a soft bristle toothbrush. So common mistake people make is that they use a toothbrush with very, very tough bristle. The toothbrush industry, it ranges from very, very tough bristle to very, very light bristle. You want to use as light as possible. It should feel like feathers. It should be very, very, very soft. That is what you want to use. Hard bristles can scratch the metal, can scratch the stone if the stone is soft enough, and it can be tough on the setting and a stone can pop out. Or if you do it over and over and over again, stones, side stones or anything could eventually pop out. Number 4, very, very, very hot water. Don't use very, very, very hot water. If you think about it, metal is made through heat. So if you're using boiling water or above boiling water, you're softening the metal. That is going to cause stones to fall out if the metal is moving from the heat, if it's reacting to the heat. 5, if you have a ring and you wear it and use a lot of hand soap and lotion and it builds up on the ring and builds up and builds up and builds up, what it's doing, it's getting into the ring, it's getting into the setting, it's getting in between the little bit of the little stones and little prongs and pave, micro pave, whatever you want to call it, and it's slowly pushing and pushing and pushing and loosening and loosening and loosening and loosening and loosening. So eventually the center stone gets loose, the side stones get loose, everything gets loose, stones can fall out or anything, and this is always to do with a buildup of residue from just simple hand lotion. It's nothing crazy. And then on top of that, a lot of these lotions have chemicals in it that are also probably not so good for you. If you're going to use lotion, make sure it's as natural as possible, especially if it's going to come in contact with your ring. If the ring gets any of it, it needs to be rinsed off and completely cleaned off immediately right after. You do not want that buildup. A lot of times, antique rings from the 1800s, Georgian rings, and even modern rings today, they're backed. So the back of the ring will have a casing, and that's for stone enhancement. So what will have backings? Georgian rings, they back the rose cuts to give a little stone enhancement. Maybe color diamond rings, they usually foil back. They do some sort of foil backing just to give a little color enhancement. And sometimes the modern rings, they'll do that. You'll see the back of the ring cupped or sometimes completely closed off. Avoid that because water gets stuck under it. It'll eventually push on the ring and it affects the luster of whatever the stone is set. And lastly, people just don't clean their rings enough. I see that all the time. Our own customers, they will tell us that a stone is loose or this or that, and I say fine, absolutely, we take care of it all. They bring it in and we see months and months and months of residue built up on the ring. Every day is good. You don't need to do every day. Always say once a week, clean your ring, clean it thoroughly, clean it the right way. Don't go too crazy. Don't use crazy chemicals or this or that. Avoid everything on this list. And my tip that I give them, my favorite cleaning tip, it's not a secret at all. Very, very, very soft bristle toothbrush. It does such a good job, especially if you're doing it once a week. That residue on there, it's not stuck on there. It's very, very weak. That soft bristle toothbrush is going to get all that residue off. I'm talking about ruby, sapphire, diamond, high pressure point stones that can withstand it. I'm not talking about very, very weak, low on the Mohs scale stones. I'm talking about stones that really can withstand it. I really like the toothbrush. I use it all the time. I use it for all of our jewelry that we buy. I use it for any time a a customer wants a quick clean. I'm not talking about a long-term clean. There's other things to do. So these are what you shouldn't do, quick tip of what you can do. And what I like to always recommend is a soft bristle toothbrush. That's it. So thank you for listening. And if you like this video, please subscribe and tune in for more videos. Thank you so much.